Hey everyone, welcome back to Taking Care of Business. I'm Mike Katz, EVP at T-Mobile for Business, and today I'm joined by Bobby Wagner. Bobby is a captain, star linebacker, and Super Bowl champion of the Seattle Seahawks. He was drafted by the Seahawks in 2012 as is a six-time Pro Bowl selector. But that's not all. Bobby's a founding member and partner of the Seattle-based Fuse Venture Partners. He was recently named to Forbes' prestigious 30 Under 30 sports list for his success in business. Bobby, I just want to thank you so much for joining us. It's such an awesome pleasure to have you here with us today.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
So I think anybody that follows football knows that I think unquestionably you're the best middle linebacker in the game. But what a lot of people may not know is the success that you've had off the field as a businessman and an angel investor. And, you know, I thought it'd be good to start with, like, how did you get interested in business and entrepreneurship, and how do you possibly balance that with your on the field and training life?
I feel like I always had an interest in business. When I went to school, I got my degree in business, and I knew I was going to do something with business. But when I got to the league, I kind of just was trying to soak up as much knowledge as I possibly can, you know, from the older guys. And, you know, what I quickly learned was, you know, there was a lot of guys that didn't really take the time to understand the money that they were getting and understand, you know, just everything outside of the football world. We were so focused on making sure we knew X's and O's, but really didn't understand the business side of things. And so I just started spending, you know, a lot of my off season inquiring in that and trying to figure out what the football business side looks like. And I think in doing that, it sparked me into, you know, investing into, you know, when I try to understand like what was going on with my money and things of that nature, it really sparked my interest in getting into investing. And once I kind of got into investing and different things of that nature, I just kind of just ran with it. And I just spend, you know, a lot of my off season, you know, I think this is a great sport from the standpoint of, you know, we go from August till February if you're lucky. And, you know, from mid-February to July, you really are just working out. And so, you know, I work out in the mornings, get everything done in the mornings, look at my plays, and I have, you know, the rest of my day to kind of just do different things. And one of the things I started to do is learn business.
Yeah. So earlier this year, you announced that you co-founded Fuse Venture Partners, which is a spinoff from a Seattle-based VC, Ignition Partners, and you're working alongside some former Amazon and Microsoft execs. Why did you get involved in this firm, and what have you learned from your involvement in the firm so far, and some of the investments that you've made?
It was kind of just like my curiosity. I was fortunate to get introduced to a guy named John Connors, and he kind of really became a mentor of mine. And you know, we would go out, and he would always challenge me, you know, to really think about what is something that I wanted to do, life after football. And we were probably just at dinner or lunch one day, and I, you know, told him I invested into something. And then he was like, "Man, I didn't know you were into investing." And so from that point, he invited me to come in and, you know, Ignition office and really just kind of sit in and see what they do. And so I got an opportunity to sit in and see what they do. And then a year later, I started an internship with them. I'm in my off season. And then after that, there was an opportunity for me to kind of join the team. And I thought it was just a perfect opportunity for me to kind of continue my learning and continue to get into a space that I was already kind of, you know, going in. I just, you know, there's a lot of similarities to helping build a business. You know, it starts with the team. It starts with, you know, the culture and things of that nature. And then you know, focus on the product. And so I feel like that's kind of, you know, the way that I kind of saw it as an opportunity for me to kind of just grow, not just on the field, but off the field.
Have you been able to get involved at all with any of the businesses you've invested in?
Yeah, I've been able to get involved with a few of them. I've invested in, you know, outside of, you know, the tech stuff, I've invested in some, you know, I made an investment in Tonal, and I'm able to kind of work with them a lot and, you know, kind of help them out a little bit. So there's a lot of different things that I'm able to kind of do, but more so in the off season, not during the season. No.
Yeah. When you're looking at these different investment opportunities, and I'm sure you get lots of different companies pitched to you, what are some of the key things that you look at as companies that interest you in investing in?
I think some of the main thing that I think I look for is the culture. What is the culture at the company, at the business? And then I look at the leadership. What is the leadership like? Because there's been some amazing products that didn't make it because of the leadership. There's always going to be a time when you're building a business or building, creating a new product that you're going to have some obstacles, you're going to have some challenges. And I think, with the right leadership, you're able to get through those things. And so that's one of the things I think I learned early on while I was angel investing. There was a couple things that I invested in that I felt could have been good, but they weren't able to work out because I don't feel the leadership was able to kind of, handle the challenges. And so that was one of the things that I learned early on, that I think, the product will be there, the consumers will be there, but the leadership and the culture needs to be there for it to really be something that lasts a long time.
Yeah. How have you, as you've looked at these companies, been able to evaluate those two dimensions, like what kind of leadership they have and what kind of culture that they've built?
I think a lot of it is just, talking to the people that work there. A lot of it is just listening to, what the CEO, what the founder says. A lot of it can be told through, the way someone speaks and, does what they say match what the people that work there say. And so there's different ways that you can really kind of go about that. But I think it's really important, and you really got to do your due diligence to understand, what the culture is. And that's why I said it's similar to football. There's a lot of teams that could be good, but the culture is just not. The culture is not a good culture, and maybe the leadership is not where it's supposed to be, and so they don't reach their ceiling or they don't reach their potential. And so I kind of look at it the same way.
I love that, and it might be your answer to this next question too, which is, I'm sure there are tons of companies that would love to be a part of your, one of your portfolio companies. What kind of advice do you give, or would you give to, startups that are looking to, or seeking venture capital to be able to attain it successfully?
I think it's that, I think it's, you have to build a value system that you believe in. You have to build a culture that you believe in. And, you have to really take care of the people that work for you. And I think if you do that, obviously with a great product as well, you will be seen and people will take a look. But I think those are some of the few things that has to be done first. You got to have a value system. You got to have something that you believe in. Because if everybody's believing in something different, then they will never be on the same page, and you'll never be able to get your product, off the ground if everybody's striving for different goals.
Anything that you commonly see with businesses that is just wrong and they shouldn't do if they're looking to raise capital?
I would say stretch the truth. I think sometimes you'll have businesses that they'll stretch the truth a little bit just to make them seem a little bit better, make their product seem a little bit better, as if people don't have the reach to do a decent either background check or check on the information that you're giving. So I think honesty is always the number one thing, because if you start a relationship off without honesty, then it's really going to go downhill from there. So I think that's the number one thing, is just be honest with where you're at, be honest with where your product's at, how much you're making, things of that nature. And I think everybody appreciates honesty.
Yeah. One of the things that you've talked about previously is wanting to see more people of color and Black people in particular getting involved in the venture capital space. When you think about that, what are some of the things that you think are preventing that today, and what can we all do to encourage more underrepresented people and communities to get involved in startups and in the venture capital space?
I think a lot of it is opportunity. I think a lot of it is just giving people opportunity to show what they can do. And I think a lot of it too is when someone like myself or anybody else, gets in the door to bring somebody along with you. And so I think that's something that me personally is focusing on, don't go alone. Make sure I, bring people that are interested in the space with me, as well as introducing the space to people, because a lot of people don't know, about venture capital or private equity or things of that nature. So if I can, help spread some knowledge about what that is and spark an interest early on, so where they start studying and thinking about it, I think that'll provide some opportunities too. But I think a lot of it too is just opportunities. There's a lot of amazing, smart people out there that just need a chance. And so it's going to take people like myself and everybody else to just provide that chance.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I just think about, I think all of us in our lifetime, when we point to how we got to where we were to where we are today, it was oftentimes a series of people taking chances on us. And I couldn't agree more that that's something I think that we all need to do is take more chances on people, on good people. And I hope that's something that can inspire all of us, because people just need the opportunity.
I agree.
We earlier were talking a lot about leadership, and if you don't mind, I was going to ask you some more about leadership. You've spent your entire professional career with the Seahawks, and that entire time Pete Carroll's been there, and Pete Carroll is certainly considered one of the best coaches in the NFL, one of the best leaders of men in the NFL. And I'm curious on what have you learned from him about leadership that's helped you on the field, and then also off the field as you've started to follow some of your entrepreneurial opportunities.
I think with Coach Carroll, the biggest thing that you're going to see, even from the moment you meet him, he's an extremely positive person. And no challenge, no circumstance changes his positivity. He's always positive. He's always believing in you. He's always, he always has your back. And I think that's the number one thing that people love playing for him, because, it's a guy that's going to have your back. And I think that's something that, anybody is willing to fight for. Another thing that I, really learned from him and appreciate from him is he accepts people for who they are. And he doesn't try to change anybody. The first thing he says when you come into the building, he wants you to be yourself, but he wants you to be the best version of yourself. And so he wants you to strive to be the best version of yourself. And so he's never tried to change anybody. We've had all type of, people that came into our organization that, from people who are loud, people who are quiet, people who, obviously say how they feel. And he never asked them to, be something that they weren't, but just be the best version of themselves, whatever that looks like. So that's something that I definitely appreciate, because it, really puts you in a situation where you don't have to worry about changing who you are, but bettering yourself. And I think that makes the team and the culture great when people are just focused on bettering themselves. And so that's something I definitely take into business is, wanting to be a person that pushes people to better themselves. And I think that elevates everybody around them.
Yeah, I don't want to put words into your mouth or anything, but how much of your success that you've had, both on and off the field, is like, do you kind of attribute to like having like a chip on your shoulder? Because when I look at your history, you went to Utah State. I don't think you were like super highly recruited out of high school. Utah State, even though, like I was telling you earlier, I have a huge bias that it's in the best football conference in America. It's not a Power 5 conference. How much that like kind of chip on your shoulder has played out in your playing and now in your business career?
I think it's crucial in my opinion, because like you said, I wasn't recruited heavily coming out of school, and then I didn't know until I got to the league how I actually got the scholarship. And so just like I said, people, I had a person that was willing to take a chance on me. And so a lot of it is not letting the people that took a chance on me down, but also proving to people that wouldn't take a chance on me that they were wrong. And so I've always done that. I've always, had that thought in my mind. I've been doubted a lot, been told what I can't do. And, I just consistently try to prove that wrong. And, it's the same mindset when you come into, business, because a lot of people try to put athletes into a box and say that they can't do anything outside of play their own sport. And so it's just another thing to prove people wrong. There's a lot of athletes out here that's done amazing work off the field, whether it's philanthropy, whether it's business, things of that nature. So, it's not one particular thing that we're good at. And so I just, like to use that as motivation to show the younger generation that you could truly be whatever you want to be as long as you put the work in, and, don't care what anybody has to say, because a lot of people are going to doubt you. And at the end of the day, it's your belief in yourself that's going to carry you through.
Yeah. I think it's so well said. And I think that having that fire in your belly is, the thing that you can't teach, but I think it's the thing that's correlated with success more than anything else. It's the thing that, like, I hope my kids have, because I think if you have it, and you're the one that becomes self-motivated, and you'll get yourself up to go do the workout, or you'll, during your off day, go, make the phone calls that you need to make to, like, evaluate companies you're going to invest in. It's the attribute that you can't learn. You kind of are born with it. And, I certainly hope, like I said, my kids have it. And it's been amazing to watch what you've done, like you making that kind of self-motivation drive you.
I appreciate it.
I have a really important question now, which, I was mentioning to you earlier. I'm from Colorado, and by circumstance, I'm a Broncos fan. Like I said, not except when, only I'm a Seahawks fan unless they're playing the Broncos. And I was going to ask you, kind of going back to Super Bowl XLVIII. I had my 6-year-old son there with me, who was a Broncos fan because of his dad. And now that you know me a little bit, like, would you have, like, eased off a little bit during that game to, like, not break his heart?
No, because I think it would have been a lesson, make sure you come prepared, ready for the game, ready for everything. And so it would have been a lesson. It's multiple lessons. You can even have a lesson about, when you lose, how to, come back. So there's multiple lessons I could teach your son from that experience.
It was amazing. It was the only time I've ever been to a game with my son when he actually asked if he could leave at halftime.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was amazing.
The beginning of the next half didn't help either, huh?
No, it didn't. I was like, Peyton Manning's playing, so we'll be fine. And then, of course, the rest is history. But I tell you, what an amazing, even despite being a native Coloradoan and a lifelong Broncos fan, what an amazing moment for the city. And I'm sure for you being, not just the face of the franchise, but now one of the faces of this city. What an amazing moment that must have been for you.
Yeah, it was great. It was something that, we all talked about because when I got to Seattle and we found out that, they'd never won a championship from football. And I thought, we all thought that it would be a great accomplishment for something, for us to do and really bring something like that to Seattle, the place that we play for. So when we were able to do that, it was an amazing feeling. And when we were able to get in the parade and really be around the fans and really, we had kids hanging out of the windows and we had people hanging out of their office spaces and really just, being able to feel the love that we got from, that day and that championship was amazing and something that, I hope we do again.
What is that dynamic like now, where most of the stadiums that you're playing in are empty? Like how much of that fan and crowd energy do you guys feed off of during the game, and how hard is it to replicate that without fans there?
I don't think you can replicate the 12s. Their energy and their passion is something that, like you said, we definitely feed off of. We love having them in the stadium, so not having them is a huge loss. But hopefully at some point we're able to get them back in there and feel the energy again. We're professionals at the end of the day, so we have to, we'll figure it out. You hit somebody real quick and then everything kind of works out itself. So
yeah,
all it takes is a hit and you're pretty into the game.
Yeah. Hey, one last question I wanted to ask you is, you have a reputation of being a really strong negotiator. In fact, somebody that gets personally involved in things like your contract with the team and everything. What tips can you share about effective negotiation whether it's in business or in your case in sports?
The biggest thing with my contract, it was just I did the work. I took the time to learn everything I needed to learn. I asked the questions that I needed to ask. I reached out to people from various of different businesses. I didn't just reach out to people in football. I reached out to people in tech. I reached out to people who own teams. I reached out to people that were in restaurant businesses. All these different things. There's so many different forms of negotiation. So I think that is the biggest thing, is to ask questions. If it's something that you're just getting into, you have to humble yourself and know you don't know everything. So asking a question that may seem, dumb or whatever, you need to just put that behind you and really just do everything you can to get the knowledge and that you need to negotiate, or to make sure you have the best contract that you have. So, I would say questions, ask a lot of questions, do the work, and then know yourself. Know yourself well enough to know how you have to handle yourself when you go into those negotiation rooms.
Through that process that you just described, were you able to find people that you've kind of regularly relied on for advice, whether again it's more negotiation advice or business advice? Like, were there mentors that you discovered through that process?
Yeah, there was a lot of people that I reached out to. There's a lot of people that I already knew. So kind of once they found out that I was kind of interested in doing the deal myself, they offered so much help. And so there was a lot of people around me that offered a lot of help and gave me a lot of different directions and a lot of things that I sat down and tried to learn, books, interviews, things of that nature. And so, I'm fortunate for the people that I have around me that supported me during that time.
Well, Bobby, I can't tell you how fortunate we are to have you in our city, representing our city, and how fortunate I was to have you talking with me today, sharing your passion about business, life, about what you're doing with sports. And also sharing some of your advice for entrepreneurs and small and medium businesses that are looking to grow their business through securing capital through VCs like what you're running. Like your dedication and that fire in the belly that you talked about is incredibly inspirational, and I think something that all of us can learn from. Whether that very few of us obviously are doing what you're doing, but it's something that I think can be taken into all walks of life. So thank you so much for joining us, and please don't forget to come back to our next episode of Taking Care of Business, and I hope you all have a great day.
What's up?
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. What's up, everybody?
Yeah. Do you know what that is?
Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
What's up?
Hello.
What's up? Nice to meet you. Bobby.
Nice to meet you.
What's your name?
Ethan.
Ethan. Nice to meet you. Who do
Nice
I
to
have
meet
in my left corner here?
This is Jake. This is my little
Jake.
guy, Jake. Yeah.
What's up, Jake? Ethan. Who's that?
This is Adeline. You want to say hi, Adeline?
Hi.
Alan. What's up? What's up, you guys?
Nothing much.
Y'all, what y'all doing? Schoolwork?
Yeah, they're actually started to do 2 days a week physically at school. They go to private school, and so so they just got back from school.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was telling Bobby how he beat you up in the Super Bowl when we went to the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's all good, man. You can just join the Seahawks, man. You can lead the Broncos. We'll work on getting you a jersey.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right, Jake. Okay, that's enough, dude.
Jake, wanna go play?
All right. Hey, Bobby. Thanks a lot, man.
All right.
I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Wanna play Roblox?
Nice to meet you
Have a
guys.
good one.
Oh, I
Take it easy.
All right. See ya.